Hi everybody. I am extremely nervous standing up here and I've got no script or anything, and my story I'm just going to talk completely from my heart and kind of give you my kind of what happened to me, my complete experience in life, my experience, strength and hopes really now at this stage. I'm 54 years of age. I was born in a very small town called Ranard, County Longford, and I was born in a wrong body. And I kind of dealt with that throughout my years. I got sexually abused in boarding school from the age of 7 until I was 12. And it's amazing when all these things are kind of happening to you, you kind of take them on board and you kind of file them in the back of your head. Yes, you're in pain, but there are things you can't really talk about. Anyway, I'm going to probably come back to that, but I'm going to move on to my teenage years and, you know, being in a wrong body. And, you know, I kind of was a teenager in the 70s, and I was kind of lucky enough because guys and girls all looked very much the same. You didn't know who was Arthur or Martha, and it was great. We all had long hair and we looked great. And I was never a drinker. I smoked. I've been smoking since I was 13, cigarettes. And basically, for me, I was late 20s when I actually started taking a drink, even just a drink. I had a sex change operation when I was just turning 30. I had a business here in Ireland. I was the top model agent. I had been the top hair and makeup artist in this country. I had done Eurovision Song Contests. I had done Bill Wyman's wedding to Randy Smith, the Rolling Stones. I was up there. I had a sex change and I was down there. Ireland turned completely against me. I went from having a top model agency, having my own home here, having my own car, having everything. Everything that you probably all would like to have one day. Maybe not a model agency, but you know what I mean. And I literally went from hero to zero overnight. And I was literally, I'd had my operation done, and I knew I couldn't say anything here in Ireland because it was good old Catholic Ireland. And actually somebody leaked the press, so I was plastered all over the newspapers. Even at this stage, I wouldn't have been a big drinker. And I hadn't really touched drugs. I had taken a bit of grass, I think, once or twice when I was younger, and got violently ill and extremely paranoid. So that wasn't for me. I was already paranoid enough. I didn't need anything to help me along the road. So anyway, I ended up back in London, and I ended up that because I had all of a sudden had become not even a second-class citizen in the eyes of the public. I'd become a third-class citizen. So I was a talented hairdresser, makeup artist. I'd won Young Hairdresser of the Year when I was 17. And I had a top model agency. And I ended up on the streets in London. And I come from a working middle-class family. So I'm on the streets of London, unemployable. I end up working in nightclubs, seedy nightclubs, and everything. And to do this, I had to take drugs. I had to take a drink. Because it was either oblivion or pain. And I tell you here now, when you have that much pain, you want oblivion. And that's what I chose, oblivion. But with that, it all started off really nice. I was as high as a kite, and I was in every nightclub, and I was party animal, disco diva, and everything. It wasn't too long before I had habits. You know, I'm from Granard, County Longford, and before long, I'm doing crack cocaine down alleyways. I'm doing heroin. I'm sleeping with people for drugs. Next of all, I'm a prostitute. How did that happen? Where did that come from? My talent was no longer anything like that. My talent was how I could get money out of you for drugs or drink. That's what my talent became. And probably what I was going to open the speech before the alarm went off, my opening thing was, I'm sure none of you have been on a life support machine. I've been on one twice. I've been sectioned in a mental home. I've been in about 10 mental homes. I was never in a mental home before I took drugs. or drink. I was a good human being. I was never in trouble with the police. By Jesus, when I was drinking and drugging, I was in trouble with the police. One thing I learned in kind of early recovery for me was yes. I hadn't been to prison yet. And that was just with the grace of God, because I should have been in prison many times. But when I was sectioned for 72 hours, that was my rock bottom. Not life support machines. They took me off life support machines and sent me back out, and I thought nobody cared. I thought nobody cared about me. I'm just this tranny who's a lost cause. You know, the sooner she dies or it dies, the better. We don't need people like this in this world. And basically, my life got so bad that I literally became a reclusive drinker and drugger. And I had people that were called to my house, and I only let them in if they had drink or drugs, or the ability of getting them. And luckily enough, I suppose because I'm middle class, working class, middle class family, I was dealing with all these people in London who were, God loved them, they didn't know any other life but prostitution, but streets, but getting drugs. Their mothers were, their fathers were pimps, their mothers were whores. You know, these kids were brought up like this. I wasn't. So I became the intelligent one to all of them. So I didn't at times have to go out and get the drugs or whatever. But it got so bad that I couldn't even be around people. And when my drinking and my drugging got so bad, I actually was I had the DTs that bad one day that I actually went into a supermarket and picked a bottle of vodka off the shelf and drank it in there. Now I knew that I could have been arrested for that, but that didn't matter. What mattered to me, it didn't matter if I robbed you, if I got every penny out of you. What mattered for me was that I had my drug or drink of choice. You didn't come into the equation. Because you must remember, at this stage, Rebecca or whoever I was before is gone. It's like when the speaker said, the devil and literally had taken over. I had become an animal. And all I thought about was where I got my next hit, where I got my next fix from. I didn't really care about any of you. I remember somebody saying to me at one stage, your eyes are dead. My eyes were dead. My body was dead. People think I'm skinny now, I'm 10 stone. I was 5.5 stone. I went into hospitals in London and they refused to help me because I was beyond help. They told me I was dying. Did that stop me? No. And it doesn't matter whether drugs are legal or illegal, or if there's drug barons or not. I am one of the people that took drugs, whether I had money or not, or whether they were legal or not. It's what drugs do to you. Drugs will kill you. Drugs will make you look like a zombie, like the living, walking dead. I have friends in London, barely alive on the streets. I went back and did a television show with RTE, would you believe? I walked down the same street that I walked down 5 years ago, and I broke down crying. I could cry now because no matter what I've done, even in my recovery or whatever, at the end of the day, that will haunt me till the day I die. So even with me speaking here tonight, if I can save one person, I don't mean saving this, but if I can help one person in not having to go down that road, then I've done a good job here tonight. Because there's nothing glamorous about drugs, or alcohol, or anything to do with drugs. I just feel I got my life back. When I was sectioned for the 72 hours, that was my rock bottom. After that, I got sober, and I got clean, and it was tough. I hadn't been home for 5 years. About 18 months into my sobriety, because I was like a teenager, I learned how to use Facebook. I found my family. They invited me over in June of 2009. I came over for my birthday, and somebody offered me a job in a nightclub, and I thought, I'm going to be back on drugs in 5 minutes. But I actually got the nightclub, and I discovered that because before my operation, I had a child that had been taken from me, I found out that I'd been working with my daughter that I hadn't seen in 25 years. That's what sobriety gave me. If I'd still been on drugs, that wouldn't have happened. And I've a granddaughter, and I've written a book, and I've come back here, and I've held my head up high. I've my model agency again, I have my life again, and I have things in my life that I've never had before. I've written a book, and people want to know about my life. I say, read the fucking manual. It's all in there for you. And at the end of the day, I don't have to worry about press anymore. It's all out there. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I didn't stand up here with a script. I didn't live my life with a script. Is that me to shut up? Okay. And all I just say is that, I don't care if drugs are legal or illegal. Bottom line is, they'll fuck your life up, good and proper. End of. Thank you.